So last year, or maybe going into this year, you're going to hear me talk probably a lot about sissy grass, also known as perennial ryegrass. And so today I want to give you some realistic expectations about perennial ryegrass, what it's good at, what it isn't good at, as I got a question from one of our viewers here that I wanted to share with you. So this question came on Instagram, and basically this viewer has a turf-type tall fescue yard right now, and he's in Topeka, Kansas. The question was, just curious on your thoughts of perennial rye in my area. I'm in Topeka, Kansas, and a complete lawn geek like you, just looking for a different challenge, as I feel there isn't much I can do to my turf-type tall fescue lawn to make it much different than it is. So he kind of was interested in reel mowing and maybe starting that. Wanted to know about perennial ryegrass in Topeka, Kansas. So I haven't looked at the map to see exactly how many miles south of me that Topeka, Kansas is, but I do know that it will probably be slightly warmer in the summer for a longer period of time. Many of you don't realize that, yes, up here in the north, we do still get quite warm in the summer, very humid, and the only difference really is that it doesn't last for as long a stretch as it does in the south. When it comes to perennial ryegrass, I will say, number one, it's my favorite type of grass, and so I have a bit of a bias when it comes to using it. But what I think I may have not mentioned enough is where it works best, where it doesn't work best, some of the pros and cons. So first off, let's give you kind of the pro and best of it. It stripes extremely well. You can cut it low like I am with a reel mower, and it has an extremely nice, soft texture to it. I love the way that it looks. If you're a golf fan, or even if you're not, if you look at Augusta National, when they play the Masters, that is all overseeded with ryegrass, and so you get an idea of what it looks like. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. But what it really likes best is a cooler and kind of somewhat wet climate. Does extremely well on the Pacific Northwest area and stuff like that. So if you live in that region, I'm very jealous of you because you have pretty much perfect growing conditions for it. Where I'm at here in the middle of the country, it gets quite warm at the end of July, sometimes all of July and the part of August. So the ryegrass will begin to struggle. Now, I don't want to give you an idea that bluegrass doesn't struggle either, or that the other cool season lawns don't struggle, because they do. And I don't know how much of a difference I would say bluegrass has compared to rye. That's why last year I planted 3 different test varieties out on the north side of my house, because I wanted to test them directly right up against the ryegrass. Same conditions, same weather, same soil. That way I can actually give you some real world evidence with my eyes and give you some of that thought there. So that's coming this season. But what I struggled with last year was, once I get to the heat, you can just see the ryegrass it's surviving, but it's struggling. So you have to just kind of deal with what it looks like during the midsummer heat. What also came up for me, which is a downside of ryegrass, is it's pretty susceptible to fungus. So I had some pythium that was coming in. A lot of people have had issues with gray leaf spot. A lot of these improved varieties, some of the best cultivars that have come out, there's been a lot of research done on ryegrass, and I think will continue to be, because it's being used as an overseeding grass in the south so much more. So I'm excited about that coming out, because I think there's going to be some good options, and the cultivars that I've been using have been working well. And even in the midsummer, I would say they've been surviving better than I would have anticipated. A lot of times in the past, people said, don't ever use rye. Don't use a big percentage of it in your yard for cool season because it won't survive the summer. And in the past also, it struggled with winter temperatures too. There's a lot of winter kill that could happen. For me, I get plenty cold here. There's a lot of times when there hasn't been snow cover on it, and it hasn't died off yet. Crossing my fingers, so I'm pretty impressed with it. But getting back to that, I don't know how much I could recommend ryegrass as a standalone yard much south of me. Now, if you're like me and you like to do experiments, I talked to this guy that wrote me the question here on Instagram, and I told him, maybe you just try a small little section of it as an experiment, and I think that's a good option for people. But a lot of people don't have the time or resources to put into those experiments. So for me, it just comes down to, I'm willing to live with some stress in the summer. I'm willing to live with the conditions that it has. And then the other pro of it is that once those cooler temperatures come back, I can throw seed down. I can do a slight dethatch like I did last year, throw seed down, and within 2 weeks, I'm back in business, and within a month, my lawn pretty much looks exactly identical as it did in the cooler, better parts of the year. So it's just so easy to repair that I kind of take that as a plus for me. Whereas bluegrass, very slow to establish new seed. So yes, it spreads and it does all that, but it's not instant. It's not really like a fast growing warm season grass like Bermuda, where that's really going to spread fast. I like the process of overseeding, so I like ryegrass for that reason. And I like getting those new varieties in there too, because I can throw new stuff in as soon as it comes out, and you're just continuing to improve upon what you have there. So would I grow a ryegrass lawn in the south? It's probably much more difficult to do south of me. Even where I'm at, it can be difficult. But if you love it for spring and fall and you just deal with some of the things that go on in the summer, I still love it as my favorite grass type. So check out some more about ryegrass and me working on it last season. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.